Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda. I used to do these kind of goal check-ins, health update kind of things over on my hiking and adventuring channel. And I have since decided that instead of splitting up these two parts of my life, I was just going to be combining them together. So I'm going to chat while I show you different hikes and things that I have gone on. I'm not going to put where they all are because they're random places around the world. I just figured we would all rather see that than just me staring at you. I do want to say that I'm going to be talking about weight and weight loss and medical things. So maybe if that is upsetting for people, don't watch right now. I am at the end going to talk about my goals and what I want to do going forward and what it looks like now. So if you want to skip to that part, you are definitely free to do that. And we're just going to jump right into my thoughts and the kind of stuff that I want to talk about. So not to go too far back into history, but I have always been an athletic person. I was what they called a tomboy when I was growing up. I was just always moving, always active. Yes, I had ADHD, even though they didn't diagnose it in very many people my age. And if they did, they were all boys. So I found out as an adult that I have it. And it just explains a lot of the movement and all of the inability to sit still that I had as a child. And I was just continually in every athletic program that you could possibly be in. I played every sport that my school or my town had for me to play. And I did it every year from probably the time I was 8 or 9 years old until I was in high school. So part of that is you're moving a lot. And with me moving a lot, I was not heavily overweight. And so I was enough overweight that the people in my family were telling me that I was overweight and that I needed to lose 20 pounds. But I was also lifting weights, working out. Anyway, fast forward to I did everything. Even in high school, I did Weight Watchers with my mother. I did all kinds of stuff. And nothing really seemed to stick. If I could go back in time and talk to all of us, because none of us knew any better than to do these yo-yo diets and all these things and take these diet supplements and everything else that we did, we didn't know what we were doing to our bodies, but also to our minds. My relationship with food and my relationship with my body has always been incredibly weird and unhealthy. I have never had to until I was in out of high school, I just didn't worry about what I ate because I was moving all the time. And I was running something, I was doing different things, always going. And so there was not a break in between the sports. I just moved from one sport to the next sport, and there was always running, there was always weightlifting, all that kind of stuff. So it did not become a huge problem until I graduated from high school. And really, I guess my junior year is when I got my first injury of my knee. And while I can't trace it back to the diet supplements that I had been taking, I did lose probably 45 to 50 pounds that I did not need to lose very quickly. And most of that was muscle and probably bone mass and all kinds of different things. And so that probably had something to do with it. And then my senior year, I put the weight right back on because I was not healthy. None of it was healthy either direction. So anyway, I had a knee injury my junior year in high school, and it didn't really get better. I just played on it, messed up. It was also the early 90s, so I feel like it was kind of this is not going to be your forever job. There was no WNBA, even though I feel like I really would have wanted to play in it had that existed. But anyway, all of that to say, I spent a huge part of my life eating whatever I wanted to eat and facing very little consequences until I couldn't really move anymore. And then all of the consequences piled on and lots of things. I gained a ton of weight my freshman year of college. Everybody says the freshman 15. Well, I gained like a freshman 50 or something. Or maybe I gained like a whole freshman. I don't know. But it was a lot. And it was all at one time. And I was depressed. And I had all these other issues that were going on with me. And instead of addressing any of those things, I just ate food. Like that was my coping mechanism for everything, was to just eat. So now we're fast forwarding 30 years from there. About 7 years ago, I guess, I decided that I wanted to start moving. So I got from the heaviest and probably most unhealthy that I was right after I had my second child. And since then, we don't look at numbers. I try not to look at weight, and I don't really exactly even know how much I weigh at this very moment right now. But I've lost almost 100 pounds, probably 75 pounds, somewhere around in there, from the highest to where I am right now. And I've been trying to move my body more. So probably 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And so I was like, okay, no sugar. So your number, your A1C number, is the number that they all care about. And they want it to be below 7.5. I hope that's right. It might be 6.5. But I wanted they want it to be below that. Well, mine was barely above it. It was 7.7. And so I didn't have a huge deficit that I was working from to get my number down. So the next time I went in, it was really low. So like I said, it was only 2/10 of a point high when I was diagnosed. So it was pretty easy for me to drop it down, and I dropped it a significant amount. And then my brain started messing with me, and I went from do not eat any sugar to, let me see how much I can eat, and kind of ride that line of where I am still under what they want me to be, but I'm not too far down, and maybe I'll still get some sugar in there. And so my next 6-month checkup had gone back up because, like I said, I was experimenting with other things, and I was like, okay, fine, no sugar. So for the next 6 months, I didn't eat any sugar, and I replaced like the French fries at different places that I would go to eat. I didn't stop going to eat at those places, and I didn't even really make better food decisions, as you'll see in a second. But I did manage to get my sugar down because I just replaced the French fries with like more chicken nuggets or something like that. And so when I went back, my A1C was down, but now I had a cholesterol issue that I didn't ever have before. Now my cholesterol was high. And I was like, well, crap, what do I do about that? And they're like, stop eating fat things and move your body. And I was like, well, that sucks, because I thought I had a workaround for not eating sugar, and I thought I was just going to get more chicken nuggets. I mean, what world do I think I live in where I thought that would happen? So that did not happen. And I was like, well, crap. Okay, so I knew that I was not going to go to the gym on my own. Like, I was just not in a place where I wanted to go. I felt very, very self-conscious because the gym that I had access to that was free for me to go to was the gym on the Air Force Base. And if you know anything about people in the military, they have to meet a certain standard. And so I was there, and I felt like the only person who was not meeting this standard of what like an average body looks like. And that's not true, but that was the lie that I was telling myself, was that I was the only one there who was overweight, and I was the only one there who had a lot of weight to lose and a lot of like movement issues. Maybe I hadn't even tried to move, so I didn't know if I had movement issues. So I hired, this was just a year ago, I hired a personal trainer. And I was like, okay, every bit of the money that I make from YouTube has got to go to pay this trainer because I've got to do something. I can't keep managing it, yo-yoing it back and forth, because my weight wasn't moving. I wasn't gaining or losing weight. I was just moving the numbers. So like my sugar would go down and my cholesterol would go up. And so then I was like, all right, you got to start moving. We got to get the cholesterol down. So I hired the trainer. And she was amazing. There was so many things about working with her that had nothing to do with lifting weights or working out or any of that stuff that I learned and I picked up from there. And I mean, I hate to say it was life-changing, but I honestly think it was, because I worked with her for 6 months. And in that 6-month period, my actual body weight only went down 4 pounds, but my body fat percentage went down 3%, and I gained 8 pounds of muscle on my body. And muscle burns fat just by existing. So just by having more muscle on my body, I am burning more fat without doing anything else, just by existing with muscle. So those things really helped me to see, like, okay, maybe you're not losing weight, quote unquote, losing weight, but you are reshaping the form that your body holds. And that is the most important part. I went back for my blood work, and everything is great. My A1C is well below where it needs to be. My cholesterol was back down, all within normal range, except my good cholesterol, because I need to eat more vegetables. As we will see in a second when I set that up as one of my goals. So anyway, all of that to say, I feel like I'm in a really good place. We have lived here in Virginia for 3 weeks, and for 2 of those weeks, I have consistently been at the gym. Last week, I went 3 days. This week, I've already been to the gym 2 days. The plan is Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, Friday. So take a break on Wednesday. But last week, when I didn't go to the gym, it was because our stuff was delivered, and so I unpacked stuff. So 3 days at the gym, 1 day of unpacking and moving boxes. So I feel like that was still a workout in itself. So let's talk about the little things that I'm trying to do to make this last and to improve it. Oh, I missed one thing in there. When I went to the doctor and he said, okay, all of your numbers look really good. You're just not losing weight. And so he's like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to try one of the GLP-1s, is that what they're called? Maybe they're the injectables that I keep seeing commercials for Ozempic. That's not what I was on, but he was like, let's try it and we'll see how it goes. Well, I didn't even get to take a full round. I was like, okay, that's fine, let's try. So I did it for 2 weeks, and in the 2-week period, I lost 3 pounds. I was a little concerned because it was giving me flashbacks to when I was in high school, and I lost all that weight very quickly, and it was very unhealthy. And so there were parts of me that were like, oh, this is a little bit weird. Like, I don't want to be losing weight this fast. Like, would like to weigh less. I would like to have a smaller body. And the main reason for that is so I can go places and do things, and I don't have to think about it for a second. I don't have to go, I don't want to go to the hockey game because those seats are small or too small for me, and it hurts my butt when I have to sit in one of those seats. Or, I want to go fly on an airplane, and I don't have to wonder, like, am I going to have to ask for a seatbelt extender on this plane, or are the seatbelts going to be long enough? Because sometimes it's very close whether it's going to be long enough or not. And so that is why I just want to be in a smaller body. Like, I feel like I am healthy at this point in time, except my body is just larger than I want it to be. So I said, yes, I will try the GLP thing, whatever it is. And it did not work because I have one of the rare side effects of a prolonged racing heart. And so because of my history and PTSD diagnosis, all is medically induced, it did not take very much for that to fling me into a full-on multiple panic attacks in one day because of the racing heart. And I went to see the doctor, and they were like, your heart looks really good, but maybe stop taking that new medicine. And I called my doctor, and he was like, yeah, let's stop taking that and don't take any of the GLP-1s, none of them, because that's a side effect for all of them. So I was like, all right, I guess we're back to doing this naturally. So that's where we are right now. And my plan is to continue with the basics and these goals. So we're going to talk about it. Right now I have listed them in my planner as a habit tracker. So I'll show you what it looks like in July. these are my habits down here at the bottom. So you can't tell because it's tiny, but I made 31 little squares. And then each day that I do it, I color it this pink color. And when I don't do it, I color it this blue color. So pink and blue are the only two colors. It's supposed to be red and blue for fireworks, but I was dealing with a limited palette while we were moving. So anyway, what I have done is all of these are 4 different things. And for July, since we were moving, I decided let's focus on just 4 things. So I focused on sleeping for 6 hours. We'll talk about that. I'm focusing on drinking 80 ounces of water a day. I'm focusing on walking 6,000 steps a day and using my bullet journal. Because I made this journal and I want to use it. So I added it as one of my things. So I guess technically for health stuff, I'm only doing 3. But that's only because I don't have to track the workouts. Like the workouts are happening because I know they will show results. So I don't have to convince myself to do it anymore. It's like, hey, get up and put those clothes on because you're going to the gym today. That's it. There's no questioning it anymore because I have seen the results. I have felt the results. I can walk up and down the stairs at my house right now and I am not out of breath at all. Like I could even run up and down them and I'm not out of breath. So I can see the results. I don't have to be convinced anymore that I need to go to the gym. I'm just going to go to the gym. What I would like to do is work on the rest of it. So sleeping is the basis of all of it. And y'all, it used to be a struggle for me to get 6 hours. And I know you can't tell because this is so small. I have gotten 6 hours of sleep every single night in July, including when I was sleeping on a cot, including when I was sleeping in a hotel bed. And since I have gotten my own bed back, just last night, I slept 7 hours, over 7, like 7 hours and 20 something minutes. I got a sleep score of 90. I do not know what's happening. I don't know if it's because we changed time zones. I don't know if it's because Virginia is piping something in the air that makes people sleepy, but all I know is my sleep has been amazing the whole month of July. So I'm not questioning it. I'm just going to keep it like it is and keep tracking. I will be moving it up to 6.5 hours. Maybe I'll move it. I'm not going to move it to 7. 7 is too much. I'm going to move it to 6.5 hours and I'm going to try to get 6.5 hours of sleep. I would love to be where I was last night. 7 to 7.5 hours sounds like a really good amount of sleep for me. I have survived on 4.5 to 5 hours for years and years, and I know that when I'm tired, I make bad food decisions. So sleep needs to be the first thing that I take care of so that I can then take care of the food choices. The second thing is water. One of the medications that I have to take because my free testosterone, I don't know what that is, but it's free and it's wild in my body. It has taken over my body. And so there is a hormone that I have to take that is reducing the amount of free testosterone that I have floating around my body. And so that makes it's a diuretic. So I lose water throughout the day. So I need more than the regular 64 ounces that you're supposed to have. So I have bumped it up to 80. My ultimate goal is 100 ounces a day. And that's anything that's not a soda is what I'm counting. So tea and coffee and water, that's pretty much it. But those things are all counting for me for the liquids. The Cokes and the Diet Cokes and the Dr. Pepper Zeros do not count for that. So that is how I am tracking my water intake. Then the last thing is walking 6,000 steps. So on here, there have been 4 days in the month of July that I have not gotten 6,000 steps. And those are all days that I didn't go to the gym, or they're days that Ron and I didn't go walk after dinner. So we usually, as soon as we finish dinner, there's a little 1-mile loop that we have discovered around our house. And so we will go do that unless it's raining, which Virginia seems to be like, hey, every afternoon we just like to rain around here. So that doesn't happen every night. And then I have discovered that if I do things at the gym, like ride a bike instead of walking on the treadmill, then my watch doesn't count any steps. So today I rode the bike, I didn't do the treadmill, and right now I'm at 3,300 steps and it's almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to have to be intentional to get my 6,000 today, but we still have to take Django to the vet and we still have to do other things. And then hopefully it won't be raining tonight tonight and we can do our loop around after dinner, and that will be perfect. You will notice I did not put any goals in here about food, and that is because food and I have a love-hate relationship, I guess we will call it. If I restrict myself in just about any way, I have done really well with restricting the sugar. But if I restrict myself and say absolutes, like you can never go back to McDonald's, all my brain focuses on is McDonald's. It'll be like, I think there's a McDonald's up here. Did you know there's a McDonald's up here? Like, I don't know why it does it. And it's always done it my whole life. So if I did like the keto diet where it was like, you can't have any bread and you can't have any whatever, that is literally all my brain was thinking about. It's like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we had some bread? I'm like, shut up. It's like, there's a little toddler in there that just wants to annoy me sometimes, and it works. So you will notice there's no food things on there. However, I am going to be adding them in either August or September, starting by adding things to my diet. So I'm not going to restrict. Instead, I'm going to say, make sure I get this number of vegetables, or make sure I get this amount of protein, or something like that is what I'm going to do for my food when I start addressing the food. So I think that is everything. Those of you that are over on the Discord, I've been thinking about putting a little chat over there that's just about goals, right? It doesn't have to be health related. It doesn't have to be anything like that, but put a little goal thing up there. Then I can check in like once a week and be like, hey, I went to the gym 4 times this week, or I got all my steps this week, or something like that. So if you guys are interested in that over on the Discord, let me know. You can text me. What? You can comment down below, or you can find me over on Discord and let me know. And I think that is it. I have talked for a really long time. Thank you for being patient and listening to this. If you did, leave me, I don't know, some kind of heart. Whatever your favorite color heart is in the emoji list, I would love for you to leave it for me below. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.